This is the Huawei Y7 Prime 2019, the latest budget phone from Huawei. This phone retails at 29,000 rupees, and even at that price, this phone is surprisingly packing quite a lot of great features. So without further ado, let's get on with the review. The build quality and the appearance of the phone, in my opinion, are the main highlight of the phone. The back and the sides are all made of plastic, and normally I would complain about the frame not being metal, but at this price I'm willing to let that go. The variant that I have comes with this gradient color. The top side is green and then it transitions into blue. Even though the back is plastic, it's emulating glass, so it's very reflective, and you can see different shades of color when light hits it. To be honest with you, I'm really impressed by the back. It looks amazing, and I have said it before many times that I'm bored of traditional black color. I want something different, and this phone is giving me that exactly, so I'm pretty happy. The gradient also continues in the sides, which is a great attention to detail. I've never seen that on a phone before. Let's talk about the front side. There's only a small camera cutout at the top instead of a notch, and then there's a bottom chain. The bezels are a little thicker, but at this price, it's great that there is only a camera cutout. Overall, I'm quite happy with the build quality and the appearance. The phone feels solid. The bezels are still pretty small, and the back looks amazing. So if you are interested in getting a phone that looks different and stands out, this can be that phone. The display on the phone is a 6.26 inches 720p LCD panel. When it comes to the quality, it is pretty decent. If you are watching movies or TV or photos, they will look okay, and you will have a good experience. But because it's not a 1080p panel, obviously it's not as clear. And when it comes to the color accuracy, the white balance is a little bit off. It feels a bit greener. It's not too much of a problem. After using it for a bit, your eyes will adjust, and it won't be apparent unless you compare it with a different phone. So overall the display is pretty decent, but it is held back by its limits. If they up the resolution to 1080p, then that will be much harsher on the processor. And if they change the processor to a more capable one, then the price of the phone will go up at least $100, and it will be a completely different phone for a completely different price. So this is a nice balance that they have here. It's a decent display, but because of that, the price is really low. When it comes to the camera, there is a 13 megapixel primary camera with a 2 megapixel depth sensor, and on the front there is a 16 megapixel single camera. When it comes to the quality, the back camera takes surprisingly decent shots. If you are in good lighting, you can take some really good shots, but in mid to low light, you will lose quite a lot of clarity. Both the front and the back camera are capable of taking some really decent shots, but you really have to fine tune things. Lighting is very important, HDR comes in handy too. Play with these things and you can really improve the photos you take with this phone. Overall, the camera isn't very exemplary. It's okay, but once again I need to bring up the price. At 29,000 rupees, you aren't gonna get the best camera, and the camera in this phone is pretty good for the price. When it comes to the performance, the phone is packing a Snapdragon 450 with 3GB of RAM, Android 8.1 and EMUI 8.2. The thing you need to know about the Snapdragon 450 is that it's not really a heavy hitter processor. Going through the UI is smooth and there's not much lag there. Apps also open fairly quickly, and light gaming is also no issue. But this is not really meant for heavy extensive tasks. You can play games like PUBG at low settings, but anything above that will cause quite a strain on the processor. EMUI 8.2 is a pretty decent version of EMUI, so it does have newer features like gesture navigation. But honestly, in this version, the gesture navigation is not really that good. It doesn't feel as fluid as the gesture navigation on EMUI 9. I'm not sure if that gesture navigation will work smoothly on this processor, but I would recommend just using the on-screen buttons instead of gesture navigation. The fingerprint sensor is also quite fast, but for me the face unlock is even faster, and whenever I was unlocking the phone, the face unlock was quicker than pressing the fingerprint sensor. There's a 4000 mAh battery, which I think should be the standard nowadays, And the battery life on this phone is pretty fantastic. Since the display is 720p and the processor doesn't consume much power, you get some amazing battery life. 2 days is no problem, and if you are a light user, you can even push that to an extra half day. So overall, the performance on this phone is okay at best. I would have preferred at least a Snapdragon 600 series processor, but I understand it because of the price, they stick with a Snapdragon 450 instead. So if you are a moderate user, I think you will be pretty happy. But keep in mind that this is meant for normal everyday tasks like calling, texting and social media stuff, and not heavy extensive gaming. So TLDR, I think that this phone is pretty decent for this price. The main thing you get is a phone that looks and feels very high-end. The build quality is solid and the appearance is really good, especially the gradient pack, but it is held back by the Snapdragon 450. Overall, if you are just looking for a decent device and don't want to spend a lot of money, then I think you will be happy with this phone. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, then please subscribe and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.